We'll start over again and say, hey, everybody, welcome to Friday.
Yeah, Friday of the Fire Safety Week.
It's our last official day of fire safety, although, as we mentioned yesterday, you'll have an assignment over the weekend to work on that recruitment or retention or recruitment activity. So yesterday we talked about, or yesterday's assignment was to complete the ERG worksheet. Did everybody get a chance to do that? Did you get a chance to? If you didn't get a chance to do it, you're going to have to plug your ears while I give the answers.
Damien says, yes.
All right, great. Okay, so you have the worksheet. Does everybody have a copy of it in front of them? Jordan, do you have a copy?
No, I don't have a copy.
Okay,
Is it
Mary
online?
Jean, can you put the can you just put the worksheet on the screen, Mary Jean?
I can do that.
Yeah, I just did mine.
Pardon? Once we have it on the screen there, we'll just go over it. We'll just take turns answering the questions.
No, let's see. ERG worksheet. No, I just have to figure out how to share my screen.
I just saw your note, Rand. I know we did get yours emailed to us. So thank you.
Okay, you should see the screen now.
All right, so does everybody see it now? All right, so number one, ethylene glycol monomethyl ether acetate has a guide number of Rand, do you remember? Do you have your answers there? Oh, it sounds like you have a bad connection there. So I'm just going to give the answers here. It's a guide number 129. There you go, Damien. Thank you. An ID number of it's actually 1189. There you go. Good deal. Number two, hydrogen has a guide number of anybody? 115. Very good, Janice. And an identification number of 1049. Why don't we just pause there for a second and just you all remember what the guide number is? What that tells you? Anybody? Do we need a refresher? What
In the orange section?
What does guide number mean?
Yes, I heard someone say it, the orange section.
Yeah. It tells you which number to go, right? Very good. All right. And then the ID number is what?
In the yellow or blue section?
All right. Okay. Good deal. All right. So number four, and I saw Damien already gave the answers. The answer for lithium is a guide number of one. So what he had to do to get lithium is he had to look up the ID number 1415, and he was able to get the name and the guide number, right, Damien? All right. Actually, yep, 138. Very good, Rayanne. Number 4, oxygen. Very good. As a guide number 122 and an ID number of 1072. Number 5, selenium compound. NOS has a guide number of 151. Denise, very good. And an ID number of 3283. Very good. Number 6, of the 5 materials listed, which material has health listed first underneath the heading of potential hazard in the orange section of the guide?
Selenium compound.
Very good. Number 7, the green section of the ERG depicts initial isolation and protective action distances. Listed under small and large spills, there's a different distances between day and night. Please explain why.
Different temperatures. And you can see it during the night and not during the day as easily.
Yeah, it actually keeps the bad stuff down closer to the ground, right? Before dissipating. Good deal. All right, Jordan, you're close to this whole thing, right? You didn't hear us at all, right? Well, feel free on your own time then to go out and do that exercise. It's an activity. It's a really good way to learn how to use the quick reference guide. And what I offered, or what I talked about yesterday, whenever the last time we talked about the ERG, is that, and I'm not sure if Tom was laughing under his breath, or even if he heard me say that when you go on a long road trip, it's fun to take an ERG with you and look at cargo tankers when they, or tank trucks when they go by you, or train cars, and look at the numbers on them and look them up in the book and find out what they're hauling and you know, play games with your family about what you would do if, you know, if that a tank car rolled over and was spilling that chemical, whatever it was. What would, you know, how far would you have to isolate, and what would you do? What, you know, how would you do firefighting or whatnot? It may sound boring, but it's actually less boring than looking for Alaska license plates in Hawaii. So, all right. Any questions about the ERG or the exercise? So Josh could not be with us today, and he's at the Middleton Firefighter. He's actually his full-time job is he's emergency management coordinator for UWPD here in Madison. He's a volunteer firefighter, has been for about several years now, I think 5 or 6 years with Middleton Fire, former Ready Camper and a Ready Camp counselor. He put together a video about what it is to be a firefighter. He could not be with us today, but we're going to play the video for you. So, Mary Jean, would you like to take it away?
I will do that if I can get to it here.
Yeah, like Paul was saying, he put together this video about the profession of the firefighting. So he talks about a lot of different things in here, from volunteer to professional to all the specialty stuff like wildland firefighting, smoke jumping, search and rescue. So covers a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, and then when it's over, we'll be able to talk about it a little bit here. So this video is actually on our YouTube channel. So if you want to look at it again at a later time, just go to the Be Ready YouTube channel. No, that's got the link on it. There you go.
Yeah. Oh, I was watching it on YouTube yesterday. So.
Yeah, it is on YouTube. This works.
Okay. All right. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
Hello, Ready Campers. My name is Josh Larson. I'll be presenting on the professional firefighting today. So I wanted to give a brief introduction on myself. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for letting me present on this. I'm very humbled to be able to talk about one of my passions. and I hope you enjoy the presentation. So without further ado, I'm currently a lieutenant at Middleton Fire. The Middleton Fire District is a volunteer fire department consisting of about 100 volunteers. We have 5 chiefs that are full-time, but other than that, everybody is a volunteer, and they come and go as their schedule allows. So I've had 9 years of service here. I am the UAS, Unmanned Aircraft System, or Drone Program Coordinator. I started it here and have been maintaining it ever since. This program has been ongoing since 2015 and is actually used statewide, so it's been quite an interesting ride being able to do that. My full-time job is actually as an emergency management specialist or emergency manager over at the University of Wisconsin-Madison Police Department. And we do a lot of emergency planning, exercise, and response to incidents or planned events on campus at UW-Madison. And we also consult with the other UW system schools throughout the state of Wisconsin. I myself was also a former Ready camper as well as a counselor. So it's good to be back, and I'm happy to see that this camp was still able to go on this year, even though it's a little bit different of a format. But a lot of great stuff I learned from this camp, and I hope to I hope that I did instill some good, positive mentoring as I was involved with Ready Camp as a counselor and continue to be here as a presenter now. So I want to go quickly through the outline of the presentation. I'm going to give a brief overview of what firefighting is, discuss the different types of firefighting. I'm going to talk about 4. So there's going to be structural firefighting, wildland firefighting, industrial firefighting, and firefighting within the military. And each of those, I'm going to talk about what they do, where they work, as well as areas of specialties. And this one's going to be primarily about structural firefighting. I'm a structural firefighter. I do some wildland firefighting, but my certifications are in structural firefighting. So I'm going to spend a lot of the specialty and training portion of this talking about the specialties and training within structural firefighting. Some of them do overlap, but just wanted to make sure you were all aware of what that's going to pertain to. So to begin, the mission of a fire department is to protect life, property, and the environment from fire and other hazards that a community may see. Now, a very general and not all-encompassing definition, so it's a very rough definition of firefighting, is the act of attempting to prevent the spread of and extinguish unwanted fires in buildings, vehicles, and woodlands. So yes, the premise of firefighting is to prevent fires. That's one thing. We also respond to extinguish fires, but we also do a lot more than just fires. Fires now are actually a very small percentage of what firefighting is. And the next slide here
Is anybody else having sound issues?
What most people think firefighters do. We put out fire. You put the wet stuff on the red stuff.
I am. It's cutting out.
As I mentioned, it's
Yeah, me too.
much more encompassing now of what our job is.
Is that better?
So as a firefighter, we respond to car accidents to assist the paramedics and the police department in
Seems to
getting
be, yeah.
patients out of a car if they're stuck, getting them packaged up, providing medical care, and getting them transported to the hospital so they can have even further advanced treatment of their condition. There's also a search and rescue component of firefighting. So we go out and we help find missing people or people that may have run away, whether that be a fugitive or an individual that has mental health issues that aren't necessarily aware of where they are. And then we also help assist paramedics, whether the paramedics are part of the organization, like Madison Fire here. They have paramedics within the fire department. So the firefighters and the paramedics, they're on the same team. They work together, they're in the same fire department. Some agencies are separate, where paramedics run separately than the fire department. And the fire department would be called in to assist paramedics as needed per their request for service. So again, types of firefighting that I'm going to be covering in this presentation is structural firefighting, wildland firefighting, industrial firefighting, and military firefighting. So to begin, structural firefighting, which is where most of you are going to be familiar with what firefighting is. So this compromises career, volunteer, and combination departments. So you can either do this as a full-time job, you can volunteer to do it, you can get paid to be part-time, or you're paid on call, which means when you're on a call, you're getting paid. So there's a lot of variations on how a career in structural firefighting can happen. So a lot of fire departments are either part of the local municipality, local government, or a district. So the Middleton Fire District, which I'm a part of, covers the city of Middleton, town of Westport, and the town of Springfield. So we provide firefighting service to those 4 districts. And like mentioned before, we prevent and extinguish fires in buildings, vehicles, and other areas. So public
We're having
education
audio
prevention
issues
is
again.
a very big part of firefighting. The other part is assisting EMTs and
Oh,
paramedics with medical care of patients, responding to car accidents, and assisting with extrication of patients if they're stuck. And that's where you'll see the jaws of life or cutters be used to assist get that patient out. Respond to hazardous material spills, so whether that be a gas leak from a car or a chlorine leak, something that something that is immediately dangerous to life or the environment. The fire departments will respond to assist in mitigating that hazard. Now with hazmat, we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's a specialty that you can go into where you're a team on a fire department that responds to hazmat calls, that has specialized training to mitigate and take care of the incident. Not all firefighters have that training, but that is something that you can look into as well. So wildland firefighting, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this in the news lately with all the fires taking place in California and
Mary
Colorado
Jean,
and
I'm wondering if we
Arizona.
should,
A lot of these jobs are full-time.
what? What are you thinking?
I'm wondering if we should
The
try
noise
this
is
off of the
very
YouTube
bad.
channel and just take it up to where we're leaving off here.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be a better version or there's something going on. I don't know if it's a bad connection or what.
Oh, okay. It was going good here.
Sorry, guys. Well, it was breaking up so bad it was hard to follow.
Oh,
I was
sorry.
breaking here too.
Breaking up there too? Okay. Hold on a minute. I don't know how to. It won't let me minimize while I'm. Okay, we'll just try this. Sorry, everyone. Okay.
That's okay. Technology.
Yep. Let's see here.
While I'm just getting that set up, does anybody have any questions about anything so far that you heard Josh talk about?
Okay. What was the name of it?
The profession of firefighting or something like that. Or ready camp firefighting.
Ready Camp Firefighting.
Hello, Ready Campers. My name is Josh Larson,
that
I'll
better?
be presenting on the
Can't see it.
professional firefighting today.
Can't see it? Oh,
So I wanted to give a brief introduction of myself. First and foremost, I want to say thank you for letting me present on this. I'm very humbled to be able to talk about one of my passions, and I hope you enjoy the presentation. So without further ado, I'm currently a lieutenant at
Okay, let's
Middleton
go ahead
Fire.
and scroll it up to,
Fire District is a volunteer fire department consisting of about 100 volunteers.
can you forward it
We
up to
have
where,
5
instead of
chiefs
starting
that are
over
full-time.
okay, where do you want me to go?
to like car accidents is where I think he was at.
Mental health issues.
A little bit more,
Some agencies are separate.
right?
We call them to assist paramedics
good.
as needed. Covering in this presentation is structural firefighting,
Right here.
wildland firefighting, industrial firefighting, and military firefighting. So to begin, structural firefighting, which is where most of you are going to be familiar with what firefighting is. So this compromises career, volunteer, and combination departments. So you can either do this as a full-time job, you can volunteer to do it, you can get paid to be part-time, or you're paid on call, which means when you're on a call, you're getting paid. So there's a lot of variations on how a career in structural firefighting can happen. So a lot of fire departments are either part of the local municipality, local government, or a district. So the Middleton Fire District, which I'm a part of, covers the city of Middleton, town of Westport, and the town of Springfield. So we provide firefighting service to those 4 districts. And like I mentioned before, we prevent and extinguish fires in buildings, vehicles, and other areas. So public education and prevention is a very big part of firefighting. The other part is assisting EMTs and paramedics with medical care of patients, responding to car accidents, and assisting with extrication of patients if they're stuck. And that's where you'll see the jaws of life or cutters be used to assist get that patient out. Respond to hazardous material spills, so whether that be a gas leak from a car or a chlorine leak, something that something that is immediately dangerous to life or the environment. Fire departments will respond to assist in mitigating that hazard. Now with hazmat, we'll talk about that a little bit later. That's a specialty that you can go into where you're a team on a fire department that responds to hazmat calls, that has specialized training to mitigate and take care of the incident. Not all firefighters have that training, but that is something that you can look into as well. So wildland firefighting, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this in the news lately with all the fires taking place in California and Colorado and Arizona. A lot of these jobs are full-time, but seasonal jobs. So the wildland season isn't year-round. Lately, in the last couple of years, it has been more of a full-time year-round job. But just keep in mind, this is something that you are looking at doing. Most of it is seasonal based on what the wildland fire is doing. So it's a job that I'm somewhat familiar with. I don't do it here besides prescribed burns at the Middleton Fire District. But it definitely is a career that you can get into. And wildland firefighting, if you go out west to be a structural firefighter, is something that you will be trained on. So again, Colorado, California, Arizona, any of those states that you can imagine that could have a wildland fire, that's where you can have a job. The state of Wisconsin DNR, Department of Natural Resource, has positions that would do this as well. And the United States Forestry Service responds to large-scale wildland fires as well as protecting national parks from the hazard of a wildfire. So again, this is separate and specialized training from structural firefighting. And once you get into wildland firefighting, there are a lot of different jobs that you can do. So when I say jobs, you can be like a engine boss. You can go into and be a smoke jumper, or there's just so many different avenues in wildland firefighting that you can get into. And I recommend that if you're interested, reach out to me. I'm happy to provide some information, as well as do some research. Google it and just find out what you can do as a wildland firefighter. It is, the options are endless, and any interest you have, I'm sure you could find it in any category of firefighting. So with that said, we'll go into industrial. So this is a very specialized training, and a lot of it takes place at oil refinery companies, at airports where you can have airplane crashes, airplane companies like Boeing or Lockheed Martin, and other corporations where they want protection of their buildings or complexes internally. So they don't want a local government coming in to provide that service. They want to take care of that themselves. A lot of these industrial firefighting jobs involve a lot of heat because of how hot oil can burn. And then to fight that, it's a little bit different. You use foam and water and other techniques versus sometimes it's straight water in structural firefighting. So a different type of firefighting, but definitely the same type of job. Again, mission is to protect life, property, and the environment of a very specific building. Buildings are complex within these companies or airports. So an interesting career field for sure. I'm not very familiar with it, but any firefighting, in my opinion, is a great career to get into. So again, interested, look into it. I recommend that. The last one I'm going to talk about is military firefighting. So training is provided by the military once you enlist and finish your basic training. You go into your specialized training of becoming a firefighter for the military. All branches of the military enlist firefighters. And these firefighters do what's called ordnance. So they inspect, they prevent, and provide protection to military installations and assets. So their main premise, like most firefighters and fire departments, is to prevent any fire or emergency from occurring. And then if something happens, they respond to mitigate that emergency and hopefully minimize the damage to the military installation or the assets that are there. So again, I said I'd go through a brief list of specialties, and this pertains primarily to structural firefighting, although again, there are facets within the different types of firefighting that some of these specialties may be a part of. So search and rescue, where you're going out and you're searching for people. Rope rescue, where you're rappelling down a mountain cliff to help somebody that's gotten stuck on the edge of a mountain. High angle and low angle rescue, trench rescue. Swift water rescue, this is where somebody gets stuck in water that has a high velocity and they can't get out. You go in, you rescue them, and hopefully provide care. You can do fire investigation. So this is after a fire has occurred and it's been extinguished. The investigators come in and they reassemble what the place looked like pre the fire and determine the origin and the cause of the fire. A lot of these jobs are local, but you can also get fire investigation jobs at the state level and the federal level, and some of them do involve some criminal activity. So it can be a very interesting career if law enforcement and fire interest you. That could be a good cross avenue. So there's inspections. Sorry about that, I hit the wrong button. Inspections occur before a fire. So you go into a commercial property and you make sure that they're up to all the fire code specifications. And if not, you help them and educate them on how to fix that issue so there isn't a fire. So public education is a big part of being a firefighter, and every firefighter has the responsibility of educating the public on fire safety. But you can also specialize in going out and being part of the public education team, where your sole job is to educate the public on fire safety. You can be part of the training academy, where you train new recruits on how to be a firefighter or how to be a firefighter within your fire department. That's a very rewarding part of being a firefighter, is helping the new people learn and grow to be a great firefighter. So something that's starting to be used more and more to survey, to look over fires as well as help in search and rescue is drone. So you can be a drone pilot or operator. Another cool area of piloting is an aerial firefighter. However, with this, you would also need to become a pilot to be able to fly these aircraft that drop tons and tons of water on wildland fires. Another specialty that you can get into is honor guard. So this is not a specialty where you would respond to an emergency. Honor guard members are there to honor fallen brothers and sisters, as well as present colors in events, parades, and other items. They are really the face of your department, of the fire service, and they hold a deep tradition in what the fire service is. Smoke jumpers, which I talked about a little bit earlier, is part of being a wildland firefighter, or specialty within that, where you jump out of planes, parachute down in front of a wildland fire to hopefully prevent further spread of the fire. And then I also talked about specialized hazmat training, so you can become a hazardous materials technician, where if there is a hazmat spill, you're going in and you're getting your hands into the middle of it, and you are mitigating that emergency. Well, not a lot of people have that training, and it's a specialty within a lot of fire departments. I'm sure some of you have seen either on a movie or on the news, people going into these big jumpsuits that cover their entire body, where they have their own breathing apparatus with inside the suit. Those are the people that are doing hazmat technician operations. They're going in and they're mitigating those dangerous chemicals that could be potentially hazardous to life and the environment. So it's a very skilled specialty within firefighting, but it is very rewarding as well. Okay, now I'm going to talk about training specifically in the state of Wisconsin to structural firefighters. So when you get hired on a department, whether it's volunteer or full-time, you're going to have a department-specific academy, and you're going to learn the policies and the operating procedures on how to respond to calls and how to conduct yourself within that department. Then there's also a separate certification of becoming a firefighter, which is usually done with the Wisconsin technical system, which is your technical schools. So like Madison Area Technical College, Milwaukee Area Technical College, and the other ones throughout the state. The minimum certification you need to respond to and do firefighting activities within the state of Wisconsin is entry-level firefighter. You will get this within the technical system if you go through their training. It's required to respond, like I said, in any firefighting capability within the state of Wisconsin. Most departments go above and beyond that and do firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 as a requirement. Most career departments require that, or that you get that when you're hired, as well as your EMT. So there's a little bit more involvement if you want to go career versus doing this as a volunteer career. Now, once you get done doing your firefighter 1, firefighter 2, you can continue doing your education by becoming a driver operator, where you're driving the apparatus and you're pumping the water. You become a fire officer then, where you're the lieutenant or the captain, and you're directing the frontline firefighters during the suppression activities and other emergency activities. You can also go on and become a fire instructor. So now you're learning how to train firefighters on how to become a firefighter and how to become a better firefighter and how to protect themselves during emergencies. So there's a lot of other stuff in here too that you can learn, but those are just some of the certification levels that you can gain from the technical system. The initial training is over 100 hours, so it's very intensive hands-on training. Once you're done, you will have ongoing training monthly, and some even do it during their shifts. So for those of you that are in Wisconsin, I did want to mention that as long as you're part of a fire department as a member in the state of Wisconsin, the state will pay for your training. So what a lot of people do that are looking to go career, because most career departments require certification prior to you applying, is that they'll go onto a volunteer department, get all their certifications, get them paid for, and then they will apply for a career full-time position. Now, myself, how I got trained was I was a junior firefighter on the Middleton Fire District, started that in high school. So if any of you are looking at doing this as a career or you're interested in learning more, I would recommend looking at your local fire department to see if they have a junior firefighter program. Now that program will get you right in the middle of the fire service so you can learn what it's like to be a firefighter and to figure out if that's what you want to do with your career. You won't be doing fire suppression activity, but you'll at least be able to train and get hands-on experience and learn what firefighting really is. Some departments even have an internship after your high school career is done. What that is most of them house you in their fire department and they send you to school. So you get all your certifications, EMT and paramedic paid for. So by the time that you're ready that you have your certifications, you have experience and you can apply to a career department and then be better suited to get a job at a career department. So with that, that is all I have for the profession of firefighting. I do thank you for your time. And again, I'm very humbled to be able to talk about this profession. It is a passion of mine. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. My email is here on the screen. I'm happy to help in any way I can answer questions or help you get hooked up with a local fire department to learn more about what your community does for firefighting. With that, I hope you enjoy the rest of Ready Camp for the rest of the summer. I know it's weird being virtual this year, and I hope that someday I'll meet some of you. Stay well, stay safe all.
What did you guys think of the video?
It's the middle of the night and everyone is asleep.
Whoa.
And when you add in smoke and heat, confusion and fear, multiple floors
Hold on a
and
minute.
several people,
I thought I
every
X'd out of
second
it.
counts. You need to have a plan to get everyone out safely, starting with working alarms, ideally interconnected ones, so that when one alarm in your home sounds, they all
Hold
do.
on.
All right, well, that was fun.
Yeah. I said I quit stop sharing. I don't know. Okay.
So Damien, can we see the TikTok now? Oh, I guess I can put my screen back on.
Yep.
Did everybody hear Tom's question?
What you guys? Did anybody have an interest in going into firefighting?
I used to.
Yeah, me too.
So actually, I had the benefit in my career that lasted a few years of doing a lot of what Josh talked about. I started as a volunteer firefighter before I went in the service. Then I worked some crash fire rescue, worked alongside crash fire rescue while I was in the service in the Army. When I got out, I became a firefighter for the Air Force, for the Department of Defense. So I worked at an Air Force base, and we did structural firefighting as well as crash fire rescue there. And then, so that was my first career firefighting job. Then I became a civilian career firefighter. Actually, let me back up. I was, while I was still in the Army and stationed in Colorado, I became a volunteer firefighter again in the community I was living in. So I was in the Army and I was also a volunteer firefighter. And then and medic. And then after I got out of the service and became a DOD firefighter, I ultimately got a job on a civilian fire department and went up through the ranks in the civilian fire department as a structural firefighter that Josh was talking about, became a hazmat tech and continued to provide medical care and whatnot. We in Colorado, most all the departments there, it's not a separate service to provide EMS. It's most of the fire departments provide EMS there. Although there's a few places where it's separate, but it's rare. Here, it's Wisconsin's more the norm that unless it's a career fire department, it's more the norm that EMS is provided by a separate agency. So, or ambulance transport at least. Ultimately, we created a state fire department in Colorado, and I had the opportunity, or the privilege of creating and putting that department together, which did land firefighting and structural firefighting, but it did it statewide. We had engines that were located in local fire stations. We worked right alongside of local firefighters, mostly in volunteer districts, and they would respond to structure fires or car accidents or wildland fires. So, but it was by and large, it was the state's wildland fire agency. We had the helicopters and airplanes, and we didn't have smoke jumpers. We had heli-tac. These are the firefighters that come out on a helicopter and get dropped into a wildland fire. Then once the firefighters are dropped in, then the helicopter will go back, attach a bucket, and start doing bucket drops. The smoke jumpers that he was talking about is a whole different profession, and as Josh mentioned, it's often a seasonal job during wildland fire season, and most smoke jumpers. The vast majority of them are federal employees. They either work for the Bureau of Land Management or the U.S. Forest Service or the Bureau of Indian Affairs. And it's a job that a lot of people in college do. College kids with their summers off will become wildland firefighters and earn the money to go to college. So, and then some ultimately will make it a career. So, I wasn't following your track here, but you're texting. But any questions? I didn't see anybody raise their hand and said they wanted to be a firefighter.
Who said that?
I said I didn't see anybody raise their hand.
Oh,
Yeah, well, some of them wrote it in the chat box.
Oh,
And Damien says he had his question answered.
oh, okay, great, good deal.
Tom put or EMS, which emergency medical services, which is the topic for next week.
So, Mary Jean, do you know when you're going to do the
Zoom calls?
Zoom calls next week?
Not yet.
Okay, so you'll send something out to them over the weekend?
Yes. We'll figure it out.
So your weekend chores then are to work on that recruitment. Now the recruitment activity that I'm talking about was part of the schedule that we sent out by email. Did everybody get that? All right. So we described it yesterday. Does everybody know what we're looking for? Just want you to kind of design a recruitment program for firefighting.
and have fun with it. You know, I don't want it to be stressful on you guys. Just from what you guys know about the fire service or EMS, you know, as limited as it is or as vast as the knowledge is on it, we just want you to kind of put something together as what you feel would be a way to bring people into the fire service. Like if you were already on a department and like it says in the scenario, you were instructed to put something together, just have fun with it. You know, like I said, follow the links. There's other examples on that website that you can go to. Yes, so fire or EMS, if you want to do both.
Then just send that to me and I can share it to the rest of them.
So Damien, the answer is yes. You may do it. You may dance and say it.
Yeah.
And
That'd be cool.
I think it's really cool that your teacher is a firefighter. Where do you go to school? And that's in Milwaukee area?
Milwaukee, yeah.
Okay. So your teacher is probably a volunteer firefighter somewhere in Milwaukee area?
Or maybe the suburbs of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh. So, Rayanne, I'm not sure what to say about your dog doing something to your computer. Rayanne doesn't smile. Rayanne, smile. Maybe she's frozen. There she is. All right. So everybody got your activity for the weekend? The other activity is to watch for Mary Jean's or MJ's email. That's going to tell you, it's going to give you the schedule for next week and when to look for this, when to join the Zoom meetings.
Okay. All right, it'll be around the same time. It'll be 12:30 or 1 o'clock, somewhere around there. Okay.
Perfect.
As far as I know, so, okay.
Is
All
this
right.
working well for you guys? All right, good deal. All right, Rand's smiling now. Thank you, Rand.
Okay.
All right, tacos. Damien wants tacos. All right, Damien. You after we see your TikTok video, recruitment video, we might get you some tacos. Okay.
Maybe that'll be your next gift card for your TikTok video on recruitment. I'll give you a taco gift certificate.
All right. You guys have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Be safe.
All
We'll see you
right.
guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining.